Here we have a mysterious box of Marvel stuff. I think it's mostly Marvel stuff. I guess we're about to find out. It was given to me by a stranger. Not really. I just bought it from somebody for $100. So there's a bunch of comics, looks like all kind of 90s, maybe early 90s stuff in there. And same with the cards. It's like the Fleer Ultra X-Men and the Marvel Flair cards by Fleer, and then some miscellaneous other ones on the side. So we're going to take a look. I'm going to start with the cards right now, and then we'll see what we've got out of that. I'm going to move this over. And there's a couple pages that they had in here. Let's see, and I guess this. Here's some stuff that was mixed in with the comic books, but it is card related. There's the Marvel Masterpiece 4-panel like promo. I'm gonna see if I can get some of these out of here. They're kind of all packed up, sort of mixed up. So, like I said, there's that Marvel Masterpiece 4-panel kind of thing. I think those must have been pretty common because I believe I've already got one of those. And then we've got the Flair prints, they're calling these. Sometimes they would call them Ultra prints with the X-Men cards, I remember. The Fleer Ultra X-Men. This one's from the 94 set. And it's Wolverine. It looks like it's bagged and boarded. And then so maybe I might be able to transfer that. I'm not sure if I have some sheets in my binder. I don't think I have this one yet. I'm gonna have to go through my binder and see which of all of these things I actually had something of or not. Here is the Marvel Masterpieces. So this was sold as a comic book, but it is actually a collection of all of the artwork from the Marvel Masterpiece cards, I believe. There's also the artists here. This was Volume 1, Number 2. And this. The cards, or the art all says 93, it looks like, on it. So, I wonder if that was from the 94 set then, I guess, or if they had these poor guys make the art early in the year for the 93 set. Looks like that might be the case. This is 1993 Marvel Masterpiece card, so yeah, looks like it's from the 93 set, so that's kind of cool. I've gotten these for the Fleer Ultra X-Men as well in the past. Alright, so here we've got some interesting sheets. These are torn, it looks like. And it looks like they really piled in some of the cards in some of these cases. Like this one's doubled up and kind of ripped. But most of these are, here's like Wolverine's Greatest Battles, and there's a Sabretooth. I guess that's their theme here, I suppose. These are just the 94 Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. So nothing super special about these. I'm wondering why they're still in sheets. And here we've got a 94 Flair card, which they were a thicker premium kind of cards. And it is stuck to this Wolverine versus the Hulk card of the 94 Fleer Ultra X-Men. So, yeah. A little sticky feeling, but I believe I have this one. Looks really familiar with the bone claws and the butterfly sitting on it. I'm pretty sure this one is not something that I'll be able to add to my collection. So maybe I can lay it out on something. It's a little bit sticky on the back, not like a naturally sticky, I guess, but these cards just always kind of had that stickiness to them, I would say, from just the way they were made. I'm just going to throw it back in here, I guess, for now. These are, of course, I have the full 94 Fleer Ultra set. Got a lot of autograph cards. It's actually those Pro Ultra sheets. I'm surprised it's all cracked up and ripped. But I have the full set, and I think the only thing I really need is maybe like a promo poster and a better copy of one of the silver crossovers. Somehow I ended up with one. I got it off eBay, and it came to me, and like the top of the card was snipped off, so it's like a shorter. I'm thinking somebody just did it with scissors or something. It was barely noticeable, I guess, once I got it, but as soon as I held up to another card, I was like, oh yeah, it's missing like, you know, the top, I don't know, fourth of an inch or half an inch or something. Not half an inch, maybe like a fourth or an eighth of an inch or something. And so I contacted the person, and they gave me a partial refund, at least, I think. So here we've got more of the 94 Flair cards, which I had some of when I was a kid. I remember buying them like one by one at the comic book store by us. And so I ended up with like a somewhat decent collection. I think I maybe had some of the packs every once in a while. Of course, there's Exit Wolverine from the chase cards from the 94 Fleer sets. It looks like that one's really packed in there. There's 3 cards packed into this one spot. So some of the stuff I would say is not taken care of the best. Yeah, there we go. There's a Flair card on the other side of this. Looks like they were big into Ghost Rider and Wolverine and Skin for some reason. But yeah, those were great. This is my first set of cards ever, especially the first one that really completed and everything. So I have a soft spot for the 94 Fleer Ultra X-Men. But who knows, maybe with some of these I can get closer to completing the Flair Marvel cards. But that'll require some unpacking, I guess, of these, which might be a little dangerous because they're so sticky and they've got them jammed in here. And here's the Flair Marvel Annual cards too, and these are the these are some of the chase variants, or the chase set, I guess it'd be. Hesitant to pull all these out right now because I'm not sure how they're gonna survive. Okay, those aren't stuck together too bad. So it looks like maybe these were just some of his favorites. They're kind of in there sort of randomly, I would say, by number and everything. There's Legion, and something else is stuck in there too. It makes it hard because these are like extra thick cards. They're probably double thick to begin with, and then they've got 2 crammed in here. I want to drag it across, but ugh. All right. So this is 95 Flair that they did this thing with Iron Man and War Machine. I'm positive I have this one. It looks way too familiar. I guess I'll have to just make sure these are all in order of 94 versus 95, because I already see that they are mixed up in here. So here's a 94, the Wolverine Bone Claws with the butterfly. But then these are all 95. So that'll be fun. Let's see if we can get Legion out of here. Oh boy. I feel like some of these might have some, maybe they got moisture on them at one point. Ugh. And plus, like I said, they're just so tight in there. Alright, that's a 95. Should have guessed. And then we've got a couple of the Fleer X-Men cards mixed in. So let's get those. Put them over. Put them there for now. Alright, here's Cyber. It's Wolverine versus Cyber Hollow Blast. 1 of 12. I don't even remember having any, if any of these. This is from the 95 Flare set. So I guess that. And that one's 95 as well, right? Yeah. Trying to put them all kind of together so I can eventually take this all over to my binders and check and see what I've got. Got Omega Red from the Fleer set. Oh, this one's a Power Blast 1 of 24 from the 90. Looks like. Oh, the chrome makes them hard to read. That says 95, yeah. Alright, so that's a 95. They had a lot of different chase sets as they went on in the mid to late 90s. I guess they thought that was where their bread and butter was. Here's a 95 Lady Deathstrike card. So, tons of 95s in here, it seems like. Let's see what we got. Oof, these are gonna be packed in there pretty tight. There's Venom the Madness. Oh man, oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, so we've got a 94 and a 95. June 2099. Just trying to match these all up. The year that they're supposed to be. I'm gonna put that there. And I hope I'm not breezing over, I guess, the Fleer ones. I mean, I think they're pretty common. Most people know about the Fleer Ultra X-Men, especially in the 94. That was a huge set, so iconic, popular. I guess I've been done with my, or more or less done with my set of 94 cards for so long. It's like old hat to me to see them again. Whereas the 94 Flare, I haven't had a ton of, and even more so about the 95 Flare. I'll have to bust out the binders and see how my collection's looking after this. See if I can fill in some gaps that have been sitting in there for over 30 years in some cases. Oh boy, alright. Oh, those are stuck in there. They're not, I think, stuck to the point of really getting like damaged and having the art rip off, but they are pretty tight. They almost feel a little, I don't know, humid or something, maybe I would say, but they're not like warped, like water warped, I would say. Corners are actually surprisingly decent, considering how they've been kept. Alright, so let's see if I can get the Ghost Rider out. It is really holding on to the front of that, I feel like. I will be glad when I get these pages done. Alright, here we go. The new Ghost Rider from 94. Alright. I guess there's the new and original. They did the art pretty similar on this. So that appears to be everything on these sheets. Thank God. Let's see what else we've got in the mysterious box of stuff that I bought. I don't know where I'm going to actually put all of these for now. I'm trying to do a better job of keeping these nice compared to how they started. Maybe I'll throw this chase card in a sleeve real quick from the 94 set, although it's a little banged up. And then maybe I can free some of these guys out of their kind of crappy pages. So we got some of the greatest battles and stuff. I have previously sent some of these cards to the artists. I've looked up the artists' addresses, or their work addresses in the modern day. It's been maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years since I did it, but I sent some of these away. I actually got this one signed, I believe. my version of it. So I sent some of mine away and got them signed, and so now they're sitting in my binders with some autographs. So, because I had duplicates of some of these different cards in my personal collection. And so I figure maybe that'll make my set a little more unique, kind of cool. So I'm really like kind of maxing out my binder. I've added so much stuff and tried to be such a completionist with that set, since it was, like I said, my first card set ever. Alright. I guess I'm not really sure how I'm going to start all this, but it looks like they've got, maybe this is where he kept his 94 Flair cards. It looks like he opened them and then maybe put them back in these boxes. And I guess the boxes were kind of, they're nice looking. They have this like case that slides over them. It's like a Cyclops. They're all chrome kind of stuff on the outside. And here's his 95s. It looks like he did the same thing with. I see a chase card right there. I think right on the end. Venom. So these are going to be really cool to go through. I'm starting to realize it's going to take me a while to go through all of these. I just kind of briefly glanced at it when I first got them. So let's bust them out the top a little bit. The Magneto one. And these are going to be some of those things that I end up with a bunch of, but I hate to throw away, you know, the original wrappers and stuff like that. I believe I have some of these maybe kind of like tucked away in that binder. Some more 95 ones. See what the 94 ones look like. But, and it just keeps coming out of there. So we've got Venom of the 94 set. Hopefully those are all on screen here. We can get a few of these. I'm not super concerned about that. I think it's 94 Marvel Masterpieces because I'm pretty sure I have that. I wonder if any of these like actually are sealed on the inside. No, it looks like they opened them all. But 10 Marvel cards, which I think with like the newer sets you get less, like 5 or something. And they're a little bit different too. Oh, I guess I should put this up with the 94s. It's really falling apart. Yeah, I'm not positive what I'm gonna do with these. I mean, they're almost in some ways nice to display, but. And here's some 95 Fleer Ultraxmen that it looks like again he opened. The previous owner, he opened and then just put them back in the pack, maybe? I guess, I don't know. It's interesting, you don't really see it like that usually. A lot of times you'll see a bag of these cards or maybe a box where they're all loose in there. Or of course, you know, if they kept them nice, they used those 9-card sheets. But this is a little bit different where I'm finding the actual packs, but they are open and they're just put back in. So this is the 95 Marvel Masterpieces for $2.99 at somewhere, maybe Best Buy. I don't know. But yeah, like they are open. I know 95, I guess it would be. I don't think I have a ton of these. Yeah, I guess that's what they are in there. And they're a little rough looking. I guess they're not stuck together too bad. Makes you wonder how they were kind of kept and everything for years. Kind of cool, but again, 95, pretty much all the Fleer Ultraxmen cards I have full sets of. Maybe I'm just missing a couple little things. And here's another 95 Fleer Ultraxmen pack. But like I said, I mean, these are all open already. At least I think so. And then there's another one of the 94 ones that's open. So that'll be a lot to go through. So already I'm thinking I did decently. And, you know, I've just flipped through some of the comics to give you a little preview. I'll put those on video too. Maybe I'll get my son to help me flip through some of the comics. And there was some decent stuff in there, even though it's 90s and they mass produced those, and, you know, a lot of it they made specifically for speculators and collectors almost. There's some cool stuff in there about, like, Carnage, of course, and Venom, and some Spider-Man stuff. And it was a lot of Spider-Man I saw in there already. And I actually saw a lot of Deadpool, which at the time nobody cared much about Deadpool. I mean, some people thought he was cool, but it wasn't a mass media kind of thing like today. So some of those might do okay. Some of the Deadpool different miniseries, it looks like, are maybe in there. But here we have some of these card boxes, and this one is absolutely packed, like to the top, where it's gonna be hard to re-close that. And I see Gambit on the front from the '92 Marvel Masterpieces, which is kind of unique. I think they had some cool maybe contests and stuff in the '92 ones where you could maybe win the art, if I'm remembering the right set. I think, or you know what, maybe '96 is when they did that. Who knows, maybe it was both. But I think maybe it was '96 that, like, some of them are missing, like they never really found the cards that say, hey, you won, pick up your painting or send us the address or whatever and we'll send it to you. So this one's a 2-D. This one's a chase card right here. But it looks like we're seeing some '92 Marvel Masterpieces, and then I just happened to pick it up right where it changes over to the '94 Fleer Ultra X-Men. I guess, like I said, it's not really in any kind of order, and these are close to being in order. That's number 2, and then we've got, you know, Beast is number 3, but then it jumps to Jubilee, who's number 5. So I don't know, maybe with this plus the these few of the cards that came out of the sleeves, maybe we'll have somewhat of a close set of '94s. So I'll just have a lot of '94s hanging around. '94 Fleer Ultra X-Men. Naming conventions were so close. Okay, well, obviously we have another Sabretooth of the card that I already had found previously, so I don't know what that's going to do for us. Maybe those were spares in that binder. Maybe they made a binder of things they wanted to trade away. I really don't know. Don't really know the background of these cards that I got in this $100 box. But we will see, I guess. I should separate these for now. They're definitely not in any kind of order. I don't know. It's a strange, I'm trying not to be too rough with them. I mean, they seem to be decently kept, but there's still some dings and dents here and there. So, sorry, I'm at a weird angle here trying to do this. A lot of stuff on this side. This is one of those things that just kind of came up that I was able to buy this. So I wasn't really prepared with a bunch of space ready to show them off. Alright, let's see what we got. I'm seeing what looks like '94 Fleer all the way through, I'm guessing. Except, what's going on here? It is a Wizard promo card of, who's that? Johnson's Roman Tribe? 1993. It's kind of emerging comic that I don't know much about. Oof. I know that the packs have the problems of sticking together real bad, but it looks like the way these have been stored, they're kind of starting to stick a little bit too. It's a little rough for us. I'm gonna throw these Wolverine graded metals in with these other ones, just so we have them kind of together. I'm gonna figure all that out later. Sorry, I know I'm showing kind of the backs of the cards, but I'm running into some really It's just like not quite bricked, I guess you would call it. It seems like more or less they're in order. I know there's a couple variant kind of things, like an Iceman with no number. I think was in the '94 set. It's been a little while since I've delved into the '94 ones. All right, and then right in the middle are some chase cards for some reason. So, yeah, the order in which these things are in is interesting. I guess it's confusing. So here's some of these big. This is the one that makes the 9 team, or the panel out of the 9 cards when you put them all together. And they're just stuck right in the kind of middle of the roughly organized set. Original Professor X, the original Angel, the original Cyclops, but yeah, there's not perfect order. Silver crossovers are the big ones that you're looking for out of these. This is just a normal X-over, calling it, with crossovers. But they made a rare set, which was, I guess, 1 per box they were coming in or something, or maybe 1 per case even, that were only in, I think, the Walmart versions, the Walmart cards of the '94 Fleer Ultra X-Men. So those are fairly rare. I remember for the longest time they were $20 each. And as a kid, you know, I would see them in like these card magazines and stuff. I collected the full set normally, you know, just in getting cards and putting them in my binder. I think my dad bought a box and he would pay me with cards for doing chores and extra jobs and things. And so I got the normal set that way, and I even got all of these normal kind of chase cards that way. But our box did not come from Walmart, apparently, because it didn't have any of the special Walmarts. They had like special Walmart X-Men Greatest Battles chase set, and they had I think they called it a red foil team triptych kind of a thing, where this was like red chrome kind of foil stuff on there. So I didn't have any of that stuff. I had to get all that later, like different card shows and things when I was slightly older. But the last kind of part of that set that I had to get was those silver crossovers, and for a long time they were sitting in this card kind of catalog. I remember from the late '90s, I guess it would be, and they were sitting there at $20 a piece, and then you could get the whole set for $120, or maybe they even give you a discount a little bit on the whole 6-card set of the silver crossovers. Hey, look, it's Deadpool. I always thought he looked like he was skiing here. Like, he was like going down a mountain, and these were like, you know, ski poles. They're supposed to be swords. I don't know. There was something weird about the way that this card was. And that's his leg, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, the silver crossovers took me forever to actually get, and I think I ended up just getting them kind of one at a time off eBay over the years, trying to find a decent deal on them. But that price tag of like $20 each always stuck in my mind. I never really wanted to go way higher than that, because it just felt wrong somehow to pay more than what I had originally, you know, years ago seen in that catalog, I guess you would say. All right, so there's somewhat in order, somewhat in order 94 Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. And who knows, maybe I'll find some other random things like that in here still. I'm trying to be a little careful with them. I feel like I'm just gonna be dragging them across each other too much because they're sticking so bad. And here's these chase cards. So I mean, they're, you know, somewhat more rare, not terrible condition wise. I'll just throw them in here for now. The funny thing is, I really have no one to trade stuff like this with anymore. But back in the day, of course, you know, my friends and I were all trading these, and we would know, like, oh, you know, Mike has this one and this one, but he needs this one. You know, we would know exactly which ones the other ones had, and we would be able to think about that, and then if all of a sudden you pulled one that you already had, but now it's a duplicate, and one of your friends needs it, then you have a little bit of leverage. These things are just everywhere, and not really in order. That is like a solid brick for right now. I mean, they're coming apart okay, but it's just, I'm gonna have to sit there and peel apart each one carefully. I can't really do that right now. Really kind of, because they're so shiny, I think, they're really kind of sticky cards. So here's your crossover, and I doubt it's a silver one. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it. That should be like more of a silver foil on there, and it would be foil up here, I guess. So that's just your normal one, 106. So they just made silver versions of these cards that were already in the set, which I'll let you decide if that's a lazy way to make a chase set or not. It was okay though. I mean, anytime I saw these, if I saw something new that I hadn't had before, I was amazed, because like I said, I got that full set when I was a kid, like a 4th grader maybe, and it took me a long time to get the silver crossovers and even the Walmart kind of ones, the Walmart special sets, or what do we call them? Chase card sets. It took me so long to get those that it was like amazing to see those for the first time. So I've got these. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with those. It used to be, like I said, when you were trading with your friends, it was a lot more valuable to have these duplicates. Whereas now, maybe, I don't know, I'll just sell them online or something. I noticed a football card was in there. It says 94 Flair, so they were doing it with football cards too. Which is interesting. It's 13 of 15, so I guess they had chase cards of the football players too. And this one's Emmitt Smith. I doubt there's any value. I don't think there's much value to 1994. Maybe the 90s kind of football cards, but who knows? Maybe. That one's a hot number, 13 to 15. I'm sure they were mass produced. Tons. So that just happened to be in there. And I did see a little bit discolored, a little bit funky looking, but it's a Toy Biz. It says Toy Biz right there on the back of it. There's a Toy Biz Wolverine promo where they're saying, look for Marvel Universe Series 2 trading cards available June 1991. So yeah, they had that Marvel Universe Impel cards. And so this is kind of cool. I mean, if you got this with a toy, I suppose it'd be pretty cool to have. And that'd be a good one. I like collecting the promos for some of these sets. But this kind of set, I remember I used to be able to get them years after it was actually popular. I would get it in this strange little combination video store that had like cards as well in it. And so that's where I actually got most of these, probably in, I don't know, 95, 96, maybe late. No, probably not later than that. Probably like 96. So like 5 years after these came out is when I was buying them, because they just had so many sitting in there. So now, I mean, I'm kind of at the point, I'm gonna have to open these and see what I've got in there and see how those fit in my collection. Like I said, the 95s, I've already got them all, so there's really no chance that there's gonna be anything in here that I don't have. I don't have very many of the 95 Marvel Masterpieces, so that'll be something I can kind of add into my set when I look through these. And the 94s, I think I have a decent amount, and the 95s I don't have as many of for these Flair Marvel annual cards. But in the rest of this box, besides the comics, I'm now down to just where there's these random kind of cards in here, and this one, the edge is pretty junky on it. You can feel how bad it is. I don't know if it's been in and out of sleeves. I don't know if it's might be a white, bit of paper or something. So these are kind of rough. Some of these are kind of in rough shape, like they've been banging around in the box maybe for a while. But this is a 94 Flair card, so I'm gonna have to see how these go, I suppose. But like in this box, it's just very random cards, very random stuff is in this kind of box here. Like we've got, here's one of the gold signature Marvel Masterpieces from 94, I believe. I went nuts in 94 with different cards. After I completed my 94 Fleer Ultra X-Men, I started just collecting the Marvel Masterpieces, the Universe, I think it was the Marvel Universe cards. Of course, the Flair ones, I liked those, but they were like a little more expensive, premium kind of cards. But yeah, I just started going nuts with them in 94 after I pretty much completed my Fleer Ultra X-Men set. Maybe I have an addictive personality, so I do that stuff. But I know that I only have a few of this gold signature, like, subset, I guess you would call it. So I will have to see how that goes. These are the 95 Marvel Masterpiece cards I'm seeing in here, and this one's another one of those gold signature ones. It's like the white uniform Electra. Yeah, this is definitely 94. Here's another 95, it looks like. I think 95, I was slowing down on the Marvel Masterpieces. And then randomly in here I've got these where it was like all chrome. That's the big thing. So they, instead of just the chase cards having it, I don't know what's on that one. Instead of just the chase cards having it, they were all chrome. And that was like what we called the 96 Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. But for some reason, Fleer decided just to call them the Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. And they were released, I think they might have been released really late 95, technically. So we ended up with some of those. But again, that's another one I have the full set of. And then Walmart made like a non-chrome version. They just started making tons. Hey, speaking of Marvel Universe, 94, there it is. I remember I found some of these, they would come in magazines, just like little promos, and like 3-card kind of triptychs all together. Like hairs stuck to these and everything. Here's where they did the, again, Marvel Universe. So this is a descendant of this type of Marvel Universe that we got the Wolverine promo of. It's like, 3 years later. This one's Venom, the Street, what do they call it? Street, or freeze frames. I thought it was like Street View, but it's freeze frames, where they would take kind of like a picture, a photo, and then put a Marvel Hero Comics drawing on top of it. Kind of interesting. This one seems to be kind of stuck. The Blaze. Yep. Here's all the. So we've hit a pocket of Marvel Universe 94 cards apparently, which I have a pretty full set of those too. I think that's another one my dad bought a box of. And I think the only thing I still need is a variant of the chase card set that had Carnage in it. It's literally just the Carnage that has a gold background of the chase card sets. I think they were the Power Blast cards. They had some weird naming conventions though. Like there were Power Blaster cards from one set and Power Blast cards from another. Yeah, so we've got another problem with some sticky cards. Oof, this one's really rough. Okay. It was Rogue back there with a freeze frame. That's what was sticking so bad. Here's the checklist from the what we called 96 Fleer Ultra X-Men. This is another variant type of a thing, I think.
they did this limited edition hollow foil. Here's Hulk, but the backgrounds were all different. Like there was a silver background, a gold background, a rainbow background, I think. And those are 94, I believe. Yeah, 94 Marvel masterpieces. I mean, they kind of flooded the market here with these different cards at some point. So we've got some universe cards. We've got some. Maybe I'll move the football card out of here. I'm not tossing it or anything. I'm gonna probably give that to my son. His football cards. And then I guess we'll move these. Universe down here. Like I said, I wasn't really prepared for this. I don't have a great layout, I suppose, that I'm putting these in. So we have, I have to keep checking the 94 and the 95 masterpiece cards look a little familiar with their setup. I guess 95 is a little different. These are all 94. And 94's, again, it was such a huge year for me with cards. I'm pretty sure I have the full set of Marvel Masterpieces. It would just be the gold signature ones that I would need now, because I think they've pretty much made the whole entire set again as gold signature cards. This is 95, that's why it looks a little different than these 94s. But yeah, they made the whole set again as 94s. And they did do a signature set with these, what we call 96 cards. So I'll have to check that one. I don't think I have all the gold signature ones. So this one, they had 3 different, like sets, versions, I guess, of the set, I should say. It was only a 100 card set of the base cards, you know, on the 96 Fleer Ultra X-Men, but they had, you know, the regular ones, they had the regular, you know, chrome kind of cards, all chrome cards they called them, and then they had the Kubert brothers, I guess, wasn't it Kubert brothers? Am I thinking that right? Andy and Adam, right? Hubert, yeah, because this one's Adam. So they had them sign some of them, or they had their signatures embossed on there with like a gold thing. So they had, I think, a full set of that as well, except probably not the checklist. It's not really art. And then, like I said, they had that Walmart set where they were not chrome and they were like a little bit cheaper at the time. So technically, I guess if you want, you know, to really be a completionist with these, it would be close to 300 cards, maybe minus the checklist. Well, maybe it'd be like 299 cards. I guess the checklist just wouldn't come out with a signature, maybe. I don't even know, but pretty close to 300 cards in just the main set with all the different variations. And then you gotta get the chase cards. And this is what I guess we kind of called 97 Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. They were pretty much, it was very Wolverine centric, I remember at the time. It's got some damage on the back, it looks like. But yeah, the packs were not as great. They made like, you could put them together and it made like a comic page, but it was just not as cool as like the information that they would put on the back of like the 94 cards. You know, it shows like the different powers and stuff and a little story there, and it's a little bit bigger. I don't know. This is just like, that's all you get about Captain America on these 97s, which, you know, Captain America is not quite X-Men related. He's allies. This was a weird set. I was not big into this one. I have very few of these, so they're just kind of like lingering around here and there. But as this box keeps going with cards, we got some really random ones coming up. It looks like out of this box, a little bit of dirt in the box too, I would say. Just to let you know, I mean, so we've got still these two. We've got a case. There's a promo card flying out of here of some kind from the Crow. Here's a 95 Flair Ultra X-Men, so that's like those type right there. But yeah, we've got this case that looks like, guessing a lot of Spider-Man cards, and they're so full they're sliding out the sides, which can't be good for them. And I can see it looks like Mary Jane, maybe an animation cell is what they used to call that, suspended animation, they called it on one of the sets. Well, let's see what's in here. I mean, this is pretty random stuff. We've got, it looks like, what's upside down? The Crow from the original movie, I guess. Exclusive, limited edition. I think these are promo cards. Exclusive, limited edition, or exclusive premium trading card 1 of 1. Available exclusively from the Kitchen Sink Press and Buena Vista Home Video. So maybe this came with like the VHS of the Crow? But there's, what is this? So it was like attached to, you could get a t-shirt. This had to have come with like the VHS or something. I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, here's some Crow promo cards. And then we've got some G.I. Joe cards that look a lot like the, I guess what would later be called Marvel Universe, but it's Impel. Again, Impel 1991. So it's the exact same year that they did that. So here's some G.I. Joe cards. I'll have to put those with my G.I. Joes that I'm gonna sell or trade, I suppose. Got a lot of stuff to organize, it looks like here. Ooh, Firefly, that looks kind of gold around the edge. More bronze, actually. It says 15. I don't know if that means it's a chase card or not. Zartan. A lot of G.I. Joe cards, apparently. So, I mean, my main focus was always Marvel, but so obviously there were a lot of other cards floating around at the time, and it looks like this guy had some of them. DC, again, a very similar style to the Impel Marvel cards. These are like these silverish borders on these, but we've got some 1991 DC cards, which I know absolutely nothing about. I have a vague idea of some of the DC characters. These cards look a little banged up, not terrible. Oh, there's Iceman hiding in amongst the DC characters. I always look on the back because I know Toy Biz kind of had their own versions of these. These were the X-Men cards, which they were Series 2, but these were, I believe, in 1993. Yep. These were 1993, so before they even had the 94 Fleer Ultra X-Men, you had, you know, your Series 1 and Series 2 of these kind of cards, and these would always come in the toys. The Toy Biz toys. I'm really running out of places to put all these. So yeah, we have a little pile of the kind of DC version of the cards, and they are a little rough. Ripples all over these. There's the back of a Golden Age Wonder Woman card. And it's been folded up, it looks like, almost. There's another Wonder Woman. So, I don't know. I'll figure those out. Maybe I'll put them with some of my DC stuff that I'm selling and trading away. I see, just kind of shuffling through these cards, I do see some more of this one. You could tell was in a toy because it's got the corner ripped off by tape, and yep, Toy Biz, it says right on there, little stamp. So I got a few of these X-Men Series 2 cards. It's kind of a mix of Toy Biz and not Toy Biz versions. Let's put those up there for now. Here's a, I don't know what this is from. Oh yeah, so it's a Cookie Crisp promo card of Spider-Man fighting the Shocker that you would have gotten out of a box of Cookie Crisp apparently back in 1994. Again, 94 was humongous for Spider-Man and the X-Men. They were just, the shows were really popular. They were kind of at their peak at this time. So that's cool. I always liked these kind of cards that came with something. And that would come with a Toy Biz toy. That came with a box of cereal. kind of like the Marvel Overpower cards that came with the Berry Berry Kicks or something. So we have Marvel Metal when they were again making everything like chrome to make it all special. But as soon as everything's special, then nothing's special. So I think they were really burning the candle at both ends when they were releasing this kind of stuff. And this would have been 95, I believe. I have a few Marvel Metal cards, but not a ton. In 1995. So I guess, I do have a binder with some in them somewhere. So I'll see if I can find that. And I guess I can add those to my binder. And we've got another 96 Lear Ultra X-Men card of Locus. And then we've got, looks like some of the 95 Lear Ultra X-Men cards. Here, little bits sticking together. Yeah, I have all these, of course, because I got the full set back in 95, pack by pack and card by card. I was able to earn them as a kid. And so these are all your normal sets until, I already see it, the Hunters and Stalkers Magneto. And these, I believe, had some different variants too on like the color of the foil. So let's see if I can find a place. I'll just set this there for now. And yep, there's some of the I'm running out of room. There's the Gambit Suspended Animation card. These are weird. They made also actually more rare, but like they look less impressive versions in Toy Biz Toys when they had like a re-release of Gambit and with Jubilee. Maybe Jubilee was one of them that they didn't make. They only did it for a few of them. I think Gambit, Cyclops, Beast, Professor X, G, maybe? I don't know. I think they had like a small set of like 6, which I have. I finally found them all. I think I had to buy Gambit from eBay. Luckily, X-Men Toy Biz toys are not that valuable even when they're still in the package. But I think I had to buy a Gambit from eBay and get out. What's different about them is they're not clear. They're just like a normal card back. And so I had to like cut open this Gambit that's been sitting in its package this whole time just to get the card out. And so I completed that set. They just look like they're really getting yellowed after all this time. There's a Cyclops and a Jubilee. So maybe I'll put these in kind of holders. I don't know. There's another Hunters and Stalkers version of Cable. So these are all the 95 cards, or the 95 Fleer Ultra X-Men, I should say. And they were kind of cool. I liked them. I was still riding that wave. And then this is what we would call, I guess, the 96 ones. They had the alternate X where they'd give you this is actually raised. You can't really tell probably from the camera, but you feel it. It's raised up. So when the whole set is chrome, I guess to do your special cards, your chase cards, then you do not have chrome on them. This has no chrome. It's just raised. So it's like I don't know if they did it with something else later where all the cards were like that, Vision or something like that, Marvel Vision, something like that. So that's their chase card. Here is a very warped canvas card. I think they call these. It's like a painter's canvas, and it is 5 of 6. So I guess fairly rare. Hildebrands, they call them. Yeah, this is like the title. I mean, it's the artist, but yeah, they called it it's a canvas card. So it's Spider-Man Premium 96, maybe. It's really hard to tell. There's just like a lot going on the back of that card. This is Spider-Man in the front, but is really warps. I don't know. I'm guessing because it's a canvas card. Maybe something weird happened with it. So we will see about that. It's like a whole different set. Now, yeah. I thought they had canvas cards with maybe one of the Marvel Masterpieces too, which it would make a lot of sense for those. Because they're all about paintings and stuff. Alright, we got some 95 Marvel Masterpieces. Speaking of Marvel Masterpieces. And let's just set those on top of that. For back in the 90s, we were changing up some costumes and stuff. And then we've got some of the 94 Marvel Masterpieces, which just the normal ones are not super exciting for me because, like I said, I already have all those. Here we are at Razor Fist. Didn't that happen to a real person? He got his hands cut off. Native American with knives on his hands. But these are these Wolverine centric, what we called 97 Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. Although technically it says 96 on the back. The years got really funky. They tried to just rush out a ton of cards. Ton of different sets and things. There's a Hulbert, that weird like Wolverine robot thing. There's Wolverine again, one of the many versions of Wolverine that was in that set, I believe. Alright, so now we're at DC versus Marvel. These were kind of interesting. I remember getting like the same promo card of DC versus Marvel, I think, back in the day a bunch. Somehow. Oh boy, and then we got some more of what we would call the 97 X-Men cards. Just plop those down there. But here's the DC versus Marvel. Some of them, they would combine heroes. This is Captain Marvel, but I think it's like mixed with Captain Marvel. I don't know, of course I was always on the Marvel side of things. There's the Hulk and the Juggernaut fighting, and Human Torch and Firestorm fighting. But I have a few of these from back in the day that I somehow ended up with. Maybe one pack worth or something, plus a promo. I'll have to check those and see if those will do anything with it. Try not to mess these up. Some of these ones that got put in cases. I mean, it's kind of like the right idea, I guess, to save them in cases real nice, but they're so packed in there that there are cards like spilling out of the top of these cases and getting shut in the hinges and stuff. There's a Mary Jane like suspended animation, they're calling it. 1994 card. They were a lot of overlap with the things that they were doing in these card sets, I think. But these seem to be, and I wasn't a huge Spider-Man guy, I was more X-Men back in the 90s. These seem to be, I remember seeing some of these, I had a few of these Spider-Man cards from 94. Pretty much if it was a Marvel card in the 90s, in the, I guess, mid-90s you would say, I had at least some of them, if not the full set, regardless of if I even, was reading the comics or into the things at the time. A lot of Spider-Man stuff I did not know real well, especially at the time. So yeah, these all seem to be a 94 Spider-Man cards. So apparently I've got a set. Maybe not a full set, but I've got some kind of a decent start of a set of these Spider-Man cards. Not seeing a ton of like what I would imagine are chase cards, although I'm not seeing them. Oh, no, they're there. Yeah, not seeing a lot of like what I would call chase cards, except for this Mary Jane. So I don't know. It's more of a base card set in here. But again, interesting. So, this is the card side of things from that $100 box of stuff that I got. I guess I would call it mainly Marvel stuff. So I have a lot of stuff to put away, and I haven't even gone through those 94 Flair cards that are all in their boxes still. like I said, they're not sealed. It seems like I've looked through most of them, or I've opened up most of those, and they're not sealed. It's not like there's sealed packs in there. They've been opened and then just put back in their boxes, or in some cases back in their like cellophane wrappers, I suppose it would be. Like, just tucked them back in there. So they must have not had enough storage, I suppose, at the time or something. So it's going to be a project. I'm going to have to check off on my checklist, I guess, what I need after this is all done. So I guess it's probably going to change a little bit, especially for those flare cards, which there seem to be quite a bit of. So far I'm pretty happy with my little purchase. And next I will start busting out these comics. The comics, just to let you have a little preview, a lot of these comics, like here's the Deadpools that I found in there, for example, they are not bagged and boarded, so I mean, they're in decent shape for not being bagged and boarded, but you've seen some little bit of rough edges, sometimes bending up a little bit. So some of them are not bagged and boarded, some are bagged but not boarded, so it's a kind of a mix. But, and then there's maybe just one random Ren and Stimpy in there, technically some Marvel comic, but so yeah, it seems to be all 90s. So I'll start going through those, and we'll see how good my $100 investment truly was when we add the comic books to these cards. But if nothing else, I'm entertained by them. I'm kind of happy with it. So not a loss in my eyes, at least so far.